Previously on Pokémon Science and Magic. We finally arrived at the Forest of Rust. Unfortunately, so did Team Ragnarok. However, with the assistance of Alex of the Elite Four, and the champion himself Himmel, we managed to fight our way through them and get our hands on yet another scroll. Just for Team Ragnarok to come out of nowhere, threaten to hurt Rachel if we didn't hand it over, and now not only do they have the scroll, but they also have Rachel as hostage. Both Himmel and Alex promised to try and get her back. As for us, we're doing the only thing we can do now. Explore more of the region and hope to become strong enough to put Team Ragnarok down for good and save Rachel. Well, this is a habitat that I surely didn't miss. We're back to the freezing cold environments as we decide to explore north of the region. Before coming to the Forest of Rust, you actually caught wind that there would be a Pokémon guild somewhere around the next town over. So, we are withstanding this cold weather so we can pay it a visit. It'd be a good excuse to try and improve our rank. In case you're interested in team building, here you can catch Leaparak, Gritterine, Shrewderol, Woolarm, Woolert, Huskalpa, and Gallistallion, as well as Onix, Nidorino and Nidorina, Sneasile, Glalie, Axew, Salzbuck, and Snover. A fair amount of ice types if I do say so myself, and some of these fellas won't be the only ones because there'll be quite a few ice types we'll be encountering today. One of them is another Pokémon you can find on this route. This is Froston, the Ice Troll Pokémon. It's fairly gentle and does mean well, however it suffers with a constant cold. You see, it's not quite used to the cold environments like other ice types are, so it's often seen coughing and sneezing just as much as Cubchoo. Make sure to have a nice warm bowl of soup if you plan on capturing this Pokémon. The next new fella that you can encounter on this route is Gobbler, the Nutcracker Pokémon. It's the evolved form of Grinner, evolving once Grinner reaches level 28. In a pack of Grinner, your boy Gobbler is the ringmaster who runs the show. In its gang, Gobbler demand to be treated like royalty, and all Grinner have to oblige. If not, well, let's just say they're going to be left a rather nasty bite mark. Any lone wolf Grinner who are unfortunate enough to be bitten by this Pokémon must do its every command and join its squad, even if it means going against their trainer. Lastly, we have Krylung, the Ice Dragon Pokémon. If this little guy looks familiar to you, that's because he is the first stage evolution of Dragavalanche, which is Himmel's signature Pokémon, so this is a chance to actually get one for yourself. Using the hole on the end of its nose, it can fire short bursts of liquid nitrogen, which is what it uses to catch its prey or defend itself. However, people who want to have one of these as a pet should beware of that fact, because one accidental sneeze from this fella is enough to start a blizzard. It takes a skilled trainer to handle one of these fellas without getting frozen. Anywho, that's it for now. However, judging by the position our rank is probably in at this point, we should be encountering quite a few armor-charged Pokémon in the wild, which means more armor-charged forms for us to unlock. In fact, I think we're about to encounter some now. So, let's sit back, relax, and see whose turn it is to gain the armor-charging treatment.
Supercharged.
Hope you got yourself a Gobbler, because if you did, you will be able to instantly armor charge it by giving it a jaw fragment. This form gives Gobbler a new set of arms for an extra hand, and upgrades its jaw to maximum crunching potential. We just established that these guys rule like kings over Grinners, however, armor-charged Gobblers literally rule with an iron fist, chomping down on anyone who disapproves of their authority. Speaking of which, its move, Supercharged Jawbreaker, allows it to chomp down on its opponent with its massive jaw, completely and utterly shattering their defense and special defense.
Supercharged.
Next is Hoolrific, who will gain the power to armor charge once you give it a Chaos Fragment. On top of a defense boost, Hoolrific's back gains an upgrade too. Not only can it fire attacks out of this new head, but it's able to see out of it, and use these new energy vines to ensnare the opponent and pull them towards the mouth, where they are then swallowed into its abyss. Which is exactly what this Pokemon does with its move, Supercharged Backlash. Add that with its illusion powers, and you'll be the one who wished you turned your back on this lady.
Supercharged.
The last armor charger, for now anyway, is Mismagius's armor charged form, which it gains when exposed to a Bewitched fragment. Now, this form is a little tricky to explain, but it's believed that Mismagius inherits powers from the underworld with this form, boosting its ghost-type abilities and granting it pyrokinesis, hence the fire type. You know, now that I look back, is it me, or is there something a little unsettling about most ghost-type armor charge forms? I mean, I know they're ghost types and that's their whole ordeal, but still. Armor charge Pokemon are known to be a lot more aggressive than their original counterparts, but for me anyway, there was something about the ghost types that felt a bit more so. Almost like they don't just become overwhelmed by the added power like most other forms, they relish it. Probably just me. Anyway, this Pokemon has a new special ability called Creeper, which allows it to use Ghost-type moves on normal Pokemon, and its move, Supercharged Dark Side, allows it to consume its victims with a mere taste of its dark power. Any Pokemon that were substituted before facing this dark illusion take more damage. Sheesh, we are progressing through this region faster than I thought. I mean, we've almost encountered every new Pokemon at this point, and by the looks of things, we're drawing nearer to becoming Rank B. So let's take on the Guildmaster of the next city and claim that rank for ourselves, shall we? Welcome to the freezing wasteland that is Gushawk City. This humble little establishment is placed right beneath the shadow of the near untraversable terrain that is the Titan's Back. A horrendously notorious area filled to the brim with mountains, rocky terrain, and some of the highest level Pokemon you can find in the region. It's here where you can find an additional path which will take you to Victory Road through the terrain itself. And at the very end is the Guild of the Double C. So if you plan on visiting them, well, you're gonna have to be prepared to go through all this lot, because this rugged area is one of the most dangerous in all the region. However, if you want some time to get your mind off of all the doom and gloom, you can visit this town's Pokemon Guild, which is also a ski resort / rescue center. Here, professional trainers lie in wait for any emergency and also enjoy the view day and night from the center's scenic location. Sounds like it's worth checking out, don't you think? Well, first, it seems like we have some additional company. Look who just strolled into town. Now, remember Loki, if you ever need me to step in, I'll be more than happy to. There's nothing to be ashamed about asking for help. Ugh, I know, Professor, it's just... Well, the whole point of me accepting this job is to protect you. I shouldn't allow you to be my bodyguard, especially since that's my job. Loki, I ask you to assist me. That means we're both doing this job together. You scratch my back, and I scratch yours. Got it? Yeah, sure. Excellent. Oh, well, look who's arrived. Glad to see you again, player. It's been quite some time. If you must know, Professor Salix here has been asked by the Double C to investigate one of the temples located here. Indeed, they want me to try and decipher some of the valuable information that might be inside. In fact, it's a good thing you arrived here, player. Turns out another scroll is located inside this temple, so we'll definitely need your expertise in order to try and obtain it. As for the reason why Loki is here, I decided to give him another chance, and he's assisting me on this job. Yeah, I am. I suppose it's something I should be grateful for. You know what? If all three of us have to go to the same place, why don't we, party up? That way it'll be much easier to get all these jobs done. Well, I never thought you'd be the one to team up with Player here, Loki. I thought he was a nobody to you. Well, I suppose you could say there's still a bit of salt in my wound. But even I can't deny his success. Besides, we're probably going to need some assistance in case Team Ragnarok shows up again. So, what say you then, player? Are you in? Oh, very well then, you two. The more the merrier, I suppose. Besides, I think the extra help would be appreciated, player. Titan's back can be dangerous, no matter if you're going over it or through it. Wait, but Titan's back? That's where the temple's located? I didn't tell you. Huh. Guess it must have slipped my mind. Oh well, come on lads, allons-y. Figures with a region as cold as this there would be an ice temple. And those huge icicles you're seeing aren't for show either. They completely surround the place, dangling from the roof and hitting the floor like a forest. In this temple, you're going to have to navigate through them, all the while sliding across the icy floor. It can be quite annoying for you, sure, but the Pokémon that live here don't seem to mind it. Then again, most of them are ice type, so I guess that's to be expected. Speaking of which, here you can find Krytonium, Baneri, Propin, Huskalpa, Krylung, and Froston, as well as Delibird, Vanillish, Eskew, Bergmite, Cryogonal, Sneasel, and Piloswine. It's so blooming cold in here. How much further is it? Not far. A few more floors, I ought to say, and we should be in the right place. Besides, I don't know why you're complaining about the cold. It's just as chilly in here as it gets outside. Just because I live in a region plagued by this stuff doesn't mean I like being in it. Why can't I have been born in Alola? Misfortune, I suppose. Yeah, probably. I guess misfortune appears to follow me everywhere I go, huh? I wouldn't say that. Not when you've been given a second chance and everything. Yeah, I suppose. Professor Salix, I really should be thanking you. Not just for this second chance and all. I mean, I doubt that pretty much any other Pokemon guild would have accepted it, but... For everything. You gave me my starter Pokemon. The one that I've spent all this time bonding with, and the one that helped me to become an official trainer to begin with. And you allowed me to start off in the Pokepals Guild, and it may not have been the prestigious guild that I wanted to be in, but I should have been thankful that I actually got a guild to start in to begin with. What I'm trying to say is that I owe you a long due thank you. So yeah, thanks. It's alright, Loki. I understood that you've been through some hardships during your time at the academy. Nobody can go through that kind of heck and come out a completely positive person. This lone wolf persona that you developed was understandable. Yeah, but it set me up for having a bad reputation with the rest of the guild. I didn't even bother talking to anyone else, and when they talked to me, I just pushed them away. I doubt I'll be that popular now, especially after everything I've done. There's always an opportunity for improvement, Loki. If you're willing to change your reputation with the rest of the guild, then it's possible for you. Although, I can't guarantee it'll be easy.
Neither is getting past us!
Oh, brilliant. Why am I not surprised? Do you guys have anything better to do?
Well, unless it's a job with a higher offering? No, we don't.
Quite right. Now, you lot be a bunch of good fellas and let us get that scroll. It's as good as ours. Huh, that chance. There's 3 of us and 2 of you. You're completely outnumbered. Really? I say things are quite even, don't you? Indeed, this quote-unquote 3 wouldn't be much trouble to us, considering there's a weak link in their ranks. And I'm not talking about the Professor. What did you say?
You heard us, Pipsqueak.
We're on about you. You think you can nail us like Thor can? Not a chance. Indeed, try to emerge from his shadow all you want. You will never be as good a guild trainer as he is. You're nothing but a short, stumpy, bootleg rip-off of him.
At least this bootleg rip-off actually bothered to show up for the job! Attention! Attention!
So what do you lowlifes appear to be up to? Oh great, it's Richard. Why is it that the Double C and their Elite Four have to keep sticking their noses in our business? That's your own fault, you lowlifes. You are the ones who are causing quite a ruckus. Everything you've done has given yourselves quite a bad reputation. Kidnapping someone is the final nail in that coffin. Ah well, you'll at least be a more suitable challenge than that rip-off of Thor over there. So battling you will at least be less pathetic.
Do not even dare compare that undisciplined fool to him! That boy may be undisciplined himself, but at least he actually had the goal to show up for this job. Why everyone else even considered recruiting that man for the Double C, I'll never know. I told it myself that he was nothing but trouble, that bringing him on would be no good due to his non-existent consideration for work. But none of that matters now. You two are the enemy, and you two must be destroyed! We'll see about that, G.I. Joe. Go get him, Pokémon! Go meet them in the face of battle, Fenrath!
Meet Richard's signature Pokémon, Fenrath, the Hatred Pokémon. These fellas are notorious for being one of the most dangerous and one of the most resentful Pokémon in the region. The fire on their back burns as brightly as their hatred for almost everything else. It is said if you are burnt by this Pokémon, you will be met with a terrible fate.
Yes, my boy! Go destroy them! Burn them to ashes! As for you lot, I suggest you better get going. I am more than capable of holding off these lowlifes. Mobilization, that is what I demand. Mobilization!
I think we better do as he says. Besides, he's a soldier. He probably deals with worse than them on a daily basis. You're right, Loki. Come on, fellas, let's get out of here while we have the chance. Our destination shouldn't be too far now. Wow. This place is beautiful. Although, I don't see any sign of the scroll. Indeed. But what I do see is what we came here for. Alright, I think I've gotten everything down. Oh, and from what I can gather, I think this answers a lot of questions we've been wondering. Well, don't leave us in the dark, tell us! What does that stuff say? This stuff, Loki, is a story. One that fills in more information about the days of the Krytonian War. You mean that ancient war we had with Galar? What does that have to do with anything? Everything, Loki. Everything. Allow me to explain. Now, in case you have forgotten or are unaware of the legend, here it is in a nutshell. The Cryoto region was at war with the nearby Galar region, and after 100 years, if it were to go on any longer, then the land we know it would cease to exist. It would be completely devoid of life. And that's the way it would have turned out, if not for the intervention of the Pokémon god, Arceus. He blessed our land with 2 legendary Pokémon to end this war and keep everything in check. These 2 new legendary Pokémon were Sanctrasil, the preservation Pokémon. Using its great roots, it healed the land and protected the old and innocent from the harsh threat of the new world. And Gyormungus, the revolution Pokémon. Using its poisonous venom, it would burn away at any old and unnecessary traditions, replacing them as easily as growing back its fangs, leaving more than enough room for the new to leave its mark. Alone, these 2 Pokémon could do so much, but it was their powers combined that allowed them to do so much more. Together, with the ability of preservation and revolution, they changed the minds of the people of this region, and the people of Galar too, filling their heads with new motivational ideas. Galar left the region alone, whilst our ancestors stopped fighting and rebuilt what had been lost. Wait, that's it? They just stopped fighting? Just like that? How? I mean, after so many years of bloodshed, there's no way either of them could have been convinced that easily. Indeed, it may seem unrealistic. However, it is said that the 2 legendary Pokémon were able to do this through their combined power. You see, when both Sanctrasil and Gyormungus are brought together, they, or whoever wields them, will be able to literally change the minds of anyone they want. Change the minds? So, like mind control? Sort of. It's more like conscious manipulation. Say if I had the 2 legendary Pokémon and asked you to catch a Magikarp. With them, I can actually convince you to catch that Magikarp for me, and not only would you think it's a good idea, but it would feel and act as if it was your conscious choice, and nobody else's. It would feel like it would be your conscious decision to capture that Magikarp for me. Do you understand? Well, I suppose, Professor, but I still fail to see what that has to do with anything. Then you might want to hear me out to the end. According to these ancient scriptures that I have deciphered, many decades after the war had ended, a band of strong trainers had heard of the 2 legendary Pokémon's accomplishment, and, knowing very well about their manipulative powers when combined, they feared that they would fall into the wrong hands. After all, anyone who got a hold of these two legendary Pokémon could definitely do worse than the war. So they began to travel the region on an ancient quest to hunt down and capture both legendary Pokémon. When they were successful, they took them to the Titan's back, where they were both sealed away for good, so no one would ever be able to use their powers for evil. However, they also believed that there would be a day in the future where these saviors of the region would be needed again. So when they were sealed, 6 scrolls were created, which, when read together, would release the legendary Pokémon from their slumber. All 6 of them were scattered, and eventually forgotten, until today. The band of heroes felt sorry for what they had to do, but knew that there was no other decision. So, to keep the region from plundering into darkness again, and in honor of the 2 legendary Pokémon that had saved it, they searched the land for its strongest warriors and Pokémon trainers. Together, they formed the Cryoto Colony, the first Pokémon Guild. They would continue to maintain peace throughout the region, and eventually more guilds would follow in their footsteps. And so the region's long-going tradition of Pokémon guilds began. Wait, so our whole tradition of Pokémon guilds? It all began with the legendary Pokémon? Wow, I didn't even know. Nobody had. Honestly, it's unbelievable. For so long, we completely forgotten where our tradition of Pokémon guilds even originated from. But this changes everything that we believed before. Indeed. So Thor was right. This truly must be what being a true guild member symbolizes. Bringing hope to those who need it. Just like how the legendary Pokémon gave our home hope. If I didn't understand before, I definitely do now. My. I know, it's a lot to take in. We have to share this with the Double C as soon as we can. This is valuable information, especially since it's revealed to us what these scrolls do. Oh, sweet Arceus, you're right. I mean, the legendary Pokémon and their combined ability? Nobody should have that kind of power. Nobody. And Team Ragnarok want it. Wait, no. Their mysterious client wants it. If he gets a hold of those scrolls and summons the 2 legendary Pokémon, he could convince the entire region's population to do whatever he wants. Maybe even the world. Whoever the heck this client is, he could literally make us all his slaves. He could rule our world with an iron fist. We have to stop him. We have to get a hold of those scrolls. And I think we just disturbed this one's guardian. Introducing this temple's lone guardian, Crytonium Lopunny, the Snow Rabbit Pokémon. It evolves from Crytonium Baneri when it reaches max happiness. It is completely immune to the cold thanks to its thick fur coat, which, due to its stylish design, has inspired quite a few fashion lines in the region. It acts like a ice queen in its snowy domain, completely demanding respect from all other Pokémon and expecting them to listen. It is claimed this temple that you have entered in its beautiful kingdom of isolation, and since it's a guardian of one of these scrolls, well, you know where this is going.
Supercharged.
enter armor-charged Lopunny. When equipped with a Queen's Fragment, it becomes a relentless ruler of the battlefield, equipped with a nasty spear to do physical damage that also gives it complete control over Black Ice. It also has a new special ability called Black-Hearted, which basically allows it to do more damage against Pokemon of the opposite gender. Lastly, its move, Supercharged Black Ice, allows it to engulf its opponents in black ice, completely immobilizing them. Ugh, and now we got bigger problems. Hey, there you are! I got you boys now. Soon this place will be under Team Ragnarok's control, and the only thing I have to do to ensure it is put you punks in your place. Ugh, and bigger problems still. Player, you handle that Lopunny. This nobody over here is mine. You just worry about your own job, and I'll worry about mine. Go and show that Pokemon who's boss! That would be easier said than done, because this Lopunny has a lot of special-based attacks to freeze us and put us on the edge. If that wasn't enough, it can start hailstorms by summoning Abomasnow, and put out our pesky fire types by calling upon Woolrain. You're going to need a lot of brute force and determination if you're to dethrone this queen. If not, then, well, prepare to receive the cold shoulder. However, the thing about icy cold shoulders is that they always melt. Whoa. Are you kidding me? I lost to this Thor wannabe? How is this even possible? You know, if you want to talk about wannabes, I would say you and the rest of your stupid guild are a way better example than me. What's that supposed to mean? Through everything I've learned, not just through my second chance, so to speak, but through what we've discovered here today. Through understanding the very concept of Pokemon guilds better than I ever had before. I've seen what Pokemon guilds have done. I've seen what their communities have accomplished together. And I now understand the very reason for why they were built in the first place. And then I look at you. A guild who is only interested in money, only interested in high bounties, only ever caring if it's for your own benefit or wealth. Thor was right about you. You're a sorry excuse for a Pokemon guild. All these other guilds have been built with the same purpose in mind, and have been showing their respect to both Sanctrosil and Gormungus without even knowing it. And your guild just goes against that. I don't even know why we're calling you a guild to begin with, because you're not. You're a joke. Nothing but a bunch of lousy clowns trying to make a fool of themselves. Heh! As if I'm going to be bothered what some rip-off has to say. Then I suppose you wouldn't mind if I called you a money-loving swinub. What did you say?! Oh, so you do care! That's what I thought. You're not even worth taking in. Just get out of my sight, and leave this place alone. Fine! But you haven't seen the end of us, kid. We'll continue to do our job, even if the real Ragnarok comes. Phew, that was a tight squeeze. Nevertheless, well done, you two. Those grunts have been dealt with, we've got the information, and it looks like that Guardian Pokemon has been knocked out. Perfect. That means we can get the scroll without any more interference. Player, you see that opening up there, where the Pokemon emerged from? If the scroll should be anywhere, it's in there. Let's grab it and go before that Lopunny wakes up. Those scrolls we have been collecting do what? I know. It's quite unbelievable, but then again, more impossible things have happened in our world. I mean, just a few years ago, the darkest day that plagued the nearby Galar region almost started up again. Well then,
I suppose gathering up the rest of these scrolls is important, not to mention reporting this to the higher-ups. Although, perhaps if these scrolls do summon the legendary Pokémon, maybe we can capture them and harness their powers to use for the good of the world. To think how many wars and conflicts could be stopped if we wield their power correctly. Are you balmy? Nobody should have that kind of power. Whoever wields the 2 legendary Pokémon can literally become the strongest person in the whole world. We can't just do something like that, there would be no point. Not to mention how corrupt we would become if we were to wield such power. You watch your tongue, boy. I was only thinking of the more superior strategy to win the conflict. We understand your point of view, Richard, but what you must understand is that Loki has a point. We can't just wield such a power. Nobody can. Even if we do, what would be the point of it all? If we use it to stop all the evil in the world, and use it to convince everyone to solve every problem we currently have, there would be no point to gain the motivation to solve it ourselves. Our whole motivation to become a stronger race, and solve problems, and stop evildoers, it'll all become meaningless. But consider, if the military had such a powerful weapon, we would be able to defeat any enemy without even hurting anyone. True, but if you actually had the power to convince all enemies to stop fighting, there would no longer be a need for the military, or Pokemon guilds, or pretty much anyone who's motivated into doing anything and is trying to motivate others to do the same. There'd be no point. Not to mention it's tampering with other people's free will. Nobody should have that kind of power, not even us. Anyone who wields it would be far too dangerous. I suppose you're right, chaps. In which case, we still must report this to our higher-ups. After all, the last thing we want is Team Ragnarok getting a run of the place. It's not just Team Ragnarok I'm worried about. It's also their mysterious client who's putting them up to all this. Most likely, they don't even know about any of this stuff. Otherwise, they'd be keeping these scrolls all to themselves. Indeed. Honestly, all of this would have been so much simpler if that lousy slacker Thor actually bothered to show up. Why didn't he show up anyway? Let me guess, was he helping another one of his friends? Well, yes and no. He was trying to find his lovely Rachel. You can imagine his reaction once he found out what happened to her. Indeed I can. Honestly, it's an absolute travesty. I mean, everything that they've done so far is bad enough, but capturing someone, holding them hostage, this is too far, even for their standards. They have standards? This is news to me. Although I don't think we're making things better by just standing about. You're right, Loki. We have to take action. Thank you for your help, player. Come on, everyone. Let's take what we have and give it to the Double C. Very well then. You chaps go on ahead while I talk to player for a little bit. I thought I could use a bit of time to honor you for all of your previous accomplishments. You are definitely making a name for yourself for your reliability, power, and loyalty to the right cause. I believe that you should be rewarded for your accomplishments. Therefore, you will receive my gratitude, as well as this item, which should help you. May it come to your aid in this epic battle against Team Ragnarok. With this, I bid you farewell, player, until we meet again.
Supercharged.
That muzzle fragment that Richard gave us will give us the ability to armor charge Fenrath. Once we get our own, that is. In this form, its burning hatred has grown so much that its armor charged form has to contain it through all of this, well, armored plating. Although, as you can see, even the armor has a hard time containing it. Its jaws are sealed around a muzzle which doubles as a flamethrower, incinerating its victims like a giant cutter's torch. And to assure that they are incinerated, it can grab and restrain the opponent with the whips that come out of the chains on its legs. Its move, Supercharged Purgatory, lets it incinerate the opponent and their held item. Phew, Jesus, today was quite the development, wasn't it? I mean, learning about the legendary Pokemon that saved this region, where Pokemon guilds came from, and what these scrolls actually do? It looks like a lot is going to be coming down in the future. I can only imagine how things are going to turn out next time, as our journey through Cryoto continues.